Good afternoon. I'm Karen Marsdale, and I am the interim president at the Greater Reading Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And today with me is another great chamber member, and I think we're going to have some fun. Llona, welcome.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here on Member Spotlight, and this is a great opportunity to showcase our businesses that belong to the chamber, but are in the community doing great things. And this is really a fun one because we see your trucks all over the place.
Good to hear.
What a great name, 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Good point.
And honestly, who doesn't have junk, really?
That's right. That's what I say. The first point to get rid of it is to admit that you have it.
Yes,
and once you get over that hump, then we can certainly come and help you.
Yeah, it's a little bit like a 12-step program, right? I mean, you have to really think about the fact that, you know, we see things on TV today like the Hoarders program.
Right.
And I think there was some, I often see the trucks on that program. So I don't know if there's a relationship that they have with that.
We've been on there 12 times.
Have you really?
I went to one taping.
Oh.
One taping. It was in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Her name was Bertha. I'll never forget. It was just awful. I cried right along with the hoarder. It was just a very difficult situation. It was a 3,800 square foot home, filled to the ceiling, every single room. She was actually unable to live in the home anymore. She was living in her car, hanging things in the trees. And the township said, either you clean up this your property or we're going to throw you in jail. So instead of the family helping her out, they called the A&E and said, we got a story for you. So our mom's going to go to jail, woohoo. So they picked up the story and we went there and they contracted us. We sent 4 trucks and 12 guys. In 2 days, we took out 20 truckloads, and each truckload is a 15-yard dumpster. So I'm terrible at math, but it's somewhere around a lot that we took out of there.
Somewhere around a lot. Yeah. Exactly.
And we cleaned out. We only made a dent. We cleaned out her kitchen, away to the bathroom, and her bathroom and bedroom, and that was all that we could do for her. So, yeah, we've done 12 of them, and they're all very difficult. But now people are aware that it's a disease, and it needs to be handled differently. And one of our core values is empathy, and when we train the guys, we train them to be empathetic to the situation and try to get an understanding of why we're there in the first place. And so we gather information. We know it's a hoarding situation, and we absolutely approach those differently than most of the jobs that we do on our schedule. So I would say we're pretty good at handling those situations from the exposure on A&E and that training that you get, and also just knowing that it's just a difficult situation.
Yeah. So that's wonderful. And I know that I've done some research on 1-800-JUNK from the standpoint also, and I don't know if they're still doing it at corporate, but they had embraced the Rockefeller habits, which is Vern Harnish, who is a great thought leader on business and how to manage a business, how to look at, foundationally, are you doing well? And so I don't know if they're still utilizing some of that model, but I thought, well, that's really great because this is a progressive company. I know that it's a franchise situation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
How long have you folks had this franchise, and how far does it reach?
We bought our franchise in the Reading Lancaster franchise, which was our first purchase in 2005.
Okay.
So we started in 2000, well, I actually bought it in 2005, opened our doors January 1st, 2006. No one had owned this area before, so it was a brand new territory, brand new franchise, and we just jumped in with 2 feet and 2 trucks, I think, and got started. And then a year later, I bought the Harrisburg franchise because that was for sale, so it was a repurchase. And then we just bought up everything in central Pennsylvania. So right now, our Pennsylvania franchise goes everything between Pittsburgh and Philly. So it's Scranton, it's Wilkes-Barre, it's Harrisburg, York, Scranton, all those. Stroudsburg, that's us.
And you've done that in 11 years.
Yeah, 10, yeah. No, 11, yeah. And then we bought Cleveland and Akron, Ohio. And we also just bought Oklahoma City, which I'm still kind of going, really? But we have Oklahoma City, and we bought it in October. I always say to my business partner, who's my son-in-law, David, why isn't it Florida or Myrtle Beach or somewhere really?
Well, that'll come. That'll come.
How comes it's Oklahoma City, Tornado Alley? Are you crazy? But then I'm thinking, well, there's probably a lot of junk because the tornadoes come through and there's cleanup.
Sure.
So
this has got to be for you a 24/7 job.
It is. It is. I enjoy it. You know, I had 30 years of retail under my belt, and really all the skills that I learned in those 30 years have been transferable to this business.
Sure.
But my most favorite thing is just developing people. And, you know, I'm very proud to be able to sit here and say that I've got guys that have been with me for 8 and 9 years, almost since the beginning. And my vice president of ops has been with me for 8 years. My other ops manager has been with me for 9 years. One of my trainers, Eric, one of the Erics, has been with me for 8 years. So we've, you know, we have a lot of tenure, and that's unheard of in the junk business, like the junk business. And that's the cool thing. Like you mentioned, the business model. Brian Scudamore, you know, who wakes up one morning and says, I'm going to brand the junk business? Like, who does that?
Sure, who does that?
I know. So
an entrepreneur.
He did. Yeah. He did in Vancouver. And, you know, he's a very successful businessman. He's been published. He speaks everywhere. You know, he's made a great name for himself. But one thing that I admire about him is that he always knows what his weaknesses are. And he's always hired people in that are to strengthen him and to help him in the areas that he's not strong in.
Sure.
And he got us off on the right foot by really modeling the McDonald's franchise. At that point was, you know, one of the best franchises in the world, and a lot of our systems and things came from that business model. So, and we're grown, and you know, and now with 1-800-GOT-JUNK, the franchise, Brian also has other franchises. So they have One Day Painting and Shack Shine and a couple of other things. So he definitely is someone to be admired in the business industry, period, and especially in franchising, because he does it so well. And I think that was one of the attractions that pulled me into the business in the first place, was just Brian and his philosophies and how he approached this, and really who does take junk and brand it and do such a great job at it.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Who does take that junk?
And why did I think of that? That's really the question.
Right.
Because I would be the billionaire instead of him, which would be fun. But, you know, that's what makes it fun. And, you know, and it's the junk business. So we can't take ourselves all that seriously, which is kind of cool. And we really do, if we're not having fun, what is the point? And Brian always says
Absolutely.
that. You know, if
Absolutely.
you're not having fun, what's the point?
Right.
Because
right.
it's a crappy job when you think about it. You know, you're going in there, in some cases it's a hoarder situation or something that's really gross, and the guys are in there and they're working really hard and they're doing what they're supposed to do.
A lot of sadness and, you know.
Yeah. But then you go into other situations like a business, and all the stuff's in one place, and it takes 5 minutes to get it out, and you know, you go on your way. But you work hard. It's a tough job. You work hard emotionally, physically, mentally. In
every way, shape, or form.
It really does.
Where's your headquarters?
We operate, the entire operation is in Lancaster, on Harrisburg Pike, right next to the dump. How convenient.
Oh, yes. Oh, my word.
The transfer station. It's not the dump, it's the transfer station.
Sure.
But yeah, we're right next to Lancaster County Solid Waste Management, and we run everything out of there. There's really basically only 3 or 4 of us that are in the office every day.
Okay.
Because we have to do everything remotely. So the way that the guys go to work every day is they just drive to where the truck is parked, because the trucks are our moving billboards.
Yes, look at this.
And they're very iconic.
Great.
You know, everybody knows.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody knows our trucks, and so they're billboards. So we have to keep them parked remotely so that customers that drive by see it. So it helps for our advertisement. So every day we start 20 guys remotely. They just go to the truck, get on the truck, do get all their information that they need to do their jobs. We call it the rolling store. So everything they need to do their jobs for their customers are basically on the truck. And we do everything electronically with the smartphone and all that sort of thing, and a lot of technology. And they go about their day, and they park at the end of the day, and they go home. So the dynamic of running a multi-site company like that remotely is tough, but we figured it out. We had 10 years. We figured it out. But it's hard to make people feel like they belong to something.
Certainly.
So trying to build that culture is really difficult.
Right.
So, you know, as we grow and evolve, we figured out how to bring in and layer other positions into the company. So we have truck guys, our truck team members, and then we have trainers that actually are boots on the ground that go around and help our guys out, and our ops managers and me. And I'm really one of the franchise partners, but I do most of the people development because that's my heartbeat. I love that. It's just what keeps me going every day, to watch these guys come in in their early 20s and just grow with the company and really want to be with us. You know, and that's what every day I get up and I say, you know, I am going to make sure that everybody that I talk to and I work with today knows that they're cared for and that their work matters. And that's my mantra. That's my mantra to my leadership team. You've got to make sure these guys know that their work matters. and they feel cared
Right.
for, and we have to set them up for
Yeah,
success.
and that's really, and I know we're running out of time, but I mean, I think that is philosophically what drives any successful business, because your people are the most important and the most costly part of your business.
Exactly.
And that human capital is just, it's so important to develop them, and that's wonderful that you've got that philosophy, and hence the reason why they're there for 8 or 10 years or 9 or whatever the case might be. Well, we have to wrap up, but I just want to ask one quick question, and we'll try to do this in maybe a minute. But you talked about the fact that you were next to the transfer station in terms of your corporate headquarters.
Right.
So what do you do with the junk? Because I did look online.
Yes,
but,
well, the standard answer is we divert 60% of what we take in from the landfill. So in Reading here, we're very much in tune to the needs of the Opportunity House. And we do donate a lot of items to them. So in every city that we operate in, we try to establish a relationship with a nonprofit, because we get really nice things, and we want to make sure that they fall into the right hands and are given to the people that can really use them.
Sure.
So that is really first and foremost on my list of what happens to the things. And sometimes the stuff is really gross and it has to go to the transfer station or the landfill, but and scrap obviously goes to the scrap yards. But and sometimes the guys will take some things home. It's a perk, we all kind of feather our nest.
Dumpster dive, yes. Hey.
I got some fishing rods and golf clubs and stuff like that. I guess hot tubs. I just was talking to somebody else today. I said, don't buy a hot tub. We get them every day. People.
It could be the next business line, just opening up.
Getting rid of hot tub. I don't know. But yeah, we make sure that it gets in. We try to find a proper home for everything that we take in. And the landfill is the last resort.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been fascinating. I just love talking to you, Llona, and I think that I could talk for another half hour, an hour, and we could have some fun.
I can always talk about
yes, but it shows in your enthusiasm that you've got a passion not only for what you do, but more importantly for the people that you're mentoring. You really are mentoring.
Really, that's a good word.
I thank you so much, because at the Chamber we believe so highly in that philosophy about doing business, and we're also very honored that you're a Chamber member and that you're doing well and growing, and isn't that just really what we all want to see is growth and expansion and prosperity for people. So thank you so much for being with me today.
It's been great. I enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it.